16.9 million people watched game one of the NBA Finals. Hunter Biden logged off and then logged back on and got millions of views calling the president a clone that keeps forgetting to change its battery. And somewhere in between, a softball game broke a record nobody put on the front page. Nobody put on the front page. I mean, things have been crazy in the news these days. This is the Judgy Podcast. This is our PR panel today. I'm Tonya McKenzie, your chief controller, and this episode, the narrative is doing backflips, okay? Things are just upside down. Let me give you the receipts real quick, and I want you to think about this. The Women's College World Series opening day up 73% from last year. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 63%. 63%. I'm sure next year it'll be even higher. Most watched the first Thursday. This is probably their first time ever watching, but it was crazy. And people are still out here wondering if women's sports is more than a hobby. Like, are you kidding me right now? A sitting president appeared to nod off 5 separate times on live television during announcements from his cabinet. Like, what is going on? And the most aggressive response in the room came from his own social media team, not the network, not the intern. Where are our journalists at? And why are they not talking about this stuff? A rookie quarterback walked said president out at a political rally. His own teammate called him out in public, and the team spent a full week calling it internal. Actually, it was all over the place. It was external. You missed that part. And the spin is just spinning out of control because that's not what happened. And Hunter Biden, that man, he spent 4 years burying himself away from all this drama. He came back unbothered, unfiltered, and funnier than ever. Have you seen him on Twitter? Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. The black sheep has found his ring light and he is on fire. Okay. Epic trolling on social media. Hunter. Okay. So here's what this panel is going to talk about today. What everybody is fighting for the narrative. Everybody is fighting for the narrative. Who's actually winning? Because if you don't control the narrative, the streets will, and it will not be in your favor. So without further ado, I want my panel to come in, let everybody know who you are, your company, the kind of PR you perform, your magic, what you do in the world. And what I want you to do, though, is give us something petty that you're thinking today. Don't give them your thoughts on the subjects. We're going to get into that. Let's go ahead and get started, Brian.
Hey, well, Tonya, it's been, I think last time you and I connected was on my show back in January. A lot's gone on in the world since then. A lot's gone on the business side. When you and I were catching up just a few minutes ago, you mentioned I led with Author Prime as my main business. You and I have known each other throughout my Flackable journey. Flackable is my public relations and credibility marketing business. And then last year, as a spinoff of Flackable, I launched Author Prime, where we take content creators, and everybody's a content creator these days. We take that content that they created and we help them, coach them, lead the way in transforming that into a fully developed, published paperback hardcover book. To be a lasting asset as part of their brands and to be a real anchor point for their branding and marketing going forward. Wonderful. That's my sales pitch. I'm done. That's the sales pitch.
Where are you, Brian? Let them know where you're at.
I am in Philadelphia, a beautiful Roxborough in Philadelphia.
And your team is?
Oh, Eagles. All the way. Go Birds.
I almost threw you off. Hold on. Jan, let them know.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chandra Gore. I am the principal consultant and publicist for Chandra Gore Consulting. I focus on small businesses, authors, and other individuals who are working and getting their startups done. I'm all inclusive. I have a niche of small businesses, but I also like to work with individuals who are looking to start their business and looking to be better. And there's a lot of shenanigans on social media that's leading the charge, and journalists are not journalists right now. That's all I got.
They are not journaling. Journalists are not journaling about the things they should be journaling. But let's start with this Hunter Biden comeback because, dude, he's so hilarious right now. He is so hilarious. The man went quiet for years, though. He literally stayed out of the mix. I want to know from y'all, what do you think about this comeback? Because he's not shy about what he's thinking. He is embracing all of his own faults, but that gives him more power when he's going after other people and their faults. Give me your thoughts on the Hunter Biden social media comeback.
Yeah, I'll start off. Americans love a comeback story. And Hunter Biden has put together an epic comeback story. Hunter Biden, also an Eagles fan. Philadelphia, we have a huge Delaware, Eagles following. Delaware is a part of Eagles Nation, 100%. And, in Philadelphia, we have a statue of Rocky. Philadelphia is the epicenter of the planet this summer because of America 250. Every tourist coming around, getting lined up at the Rocky statue to get their pictures and everything else. I mean, it's a huge tourism grab because the Rocky story is something that Americans resonate with and love. They love that he didn't come out as the favorite. They love that he got knocked down and got back up. Hunter Biden got knocked down and humiliated for years with folks, all the way up the ranks of journalism and government really keyed in on him. What I love about Hunter's comeback right now is he's owning up to everything, but he's also standing up for himself too. There were a lot of weird conspiracies floating around about him. And he's not entertaining those, but was he a crack addict? Yes. He's not denying that. He's not proud of it, but he's not running away from it either. And he's talking about it. Substance abuse runs in a lot of families. It humanizes both Hunter and the Biden family for him to now come out and talk about it. And yes, he's bringing humor into the conversation. Humor is probably the most impactful part of this Hunter Biden comeback tour because he's making people laugh. He's making people, even some of his biggest critics from just a few years ago, are even coming around and sounding off and retweeting him because the guy's on fire right now. I wish people, we still have cancel culture going on. We still have people getting in trouble for doing horrible things too. There's a difference between the petty cancel culture and people who really did break laws and hurt people. But a lot of times that doesn't mean life is over. Okay, you can still come back if you take an approach like Hunter Biden does, which is owning up to things, trying to bring some positives from that experience and building through it. So I'm sitting back and watching in awe for what this man's doing right now.
Chan? Okay, so like you said, Hunter is holding his own and everything, and he's humanizing it, but he's also he's owning him. He's actually holding his own and owning his past mistakes and not shying from it, not saying it's fake news, not saying it's not reality, but he's also pointing out and bringing out the hypocrisy that's been shown on lately. So it's a good thing that he's owning it and he's saying the different things and he's not shying away from going toe to toe with these individuals. And I love the fact that he is human. He's showing that, listen, he's not above, that he's not denying that he did those things. And so I love that he is actually coming back with with purpose. And it's making it, he's making politicians and children of politicians appear human and like and relatable. Like everyone has a cousin or a family member that has actually that has dealt with addiction. He's actually, so he's not shying away from it. But I love it that he's not shying away, he's not deflecting, he's not being argued, like he's not afraid of owning it. So I like that. I like what he's doing. I hate to say it, we need that kind of energy right now, with what's going on and what's in the political climate.
I wanted to pull up one of my absolute favorite creators. She is hella funny. And this Hunter Biden real carousel that she put together is just cream of the crop. So I'm going to run through this really quick because, dude, this is wild. So this is Hunter's tweets as signs. Okay, just
I love it.
follow me here because Barrett, I don't know, it's Barrett Adair. I love her. I follow her. She's hella funny. She should be talking crazy all the time. But then here are the tweets. So Mark Popinski, Hunter Biden just called Stephen Miller an ugly fuck. Democrats have secured the midterms. Hunter Biden says, and I feel bad about that. I meant to say he is a sadistic, infantile, ugly fuck. That's what an Aries, basically she's saying that's what an Aries would say. Like that's the Aries thing. So you can, Taurus, I'm a Taurus. I love this. Boiler grad, bullshit. That was your bag of coke in the White House. Hunter says, it most definitely was not. I would have never forgotten my drugs. First of all, if you don't have a sense of humor, you don't need to be on the internet. Like, Hunter, do I look like I'm part of the elite oligarchy class? No. This was taken at a Super 8 motel off I-95, by the way. The picture is just, dude, this dude is hilarious. He is definitely not allowing anybody to control his narrative. The cancer sign would say, man, if you're going to be mean, at least get it right. I smoked crack. I would never have wasted coke on snorting it. Hello? He has something for everybody that has something to say about him. I'm not posing nude. Those days are over.
Oh my God.
Hello. Anyways, you can go over to her page and like get your full crack up on. She has a whole list of, this is hilarious. Like I can't even do
that. That is so what I would have said though. I saw that post and I was like, I would pay attention to detail. He's absolutely correct.
He's like, listen, if you're gonna slander me, get it right. They're calling him the MAGA whisperer right now, and I can't laugh harder. Like for real. He didn't run from the laptop conversation. He hasn't run from his addiction, the pardon, none of it. He walks straight to it every time. Nobody asked him for a campaign slogan or nothing like that. But when it comes to the petty, oh my God, he's the king right now. He's making the joke before you can.
Listen,
he's pulling an Eminem.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm loving everything. I'm loving the moment. He is what we need right now. You know, he is exactly what we need right now because you're not going to take his past mistakes and make him cower or be quiet. And I like that.
Yeah, he's like, absolutely not. Like, if you come in, I'm just bring it. And listen, be unafraid. I love it. But my question to you guys is this strategy or is this strategy? And who finally stopped letting other people run his life? Or is he just fearless for no reason? Like what is all of this?
I think it's both. Because he's actually he's far removed, and plus saying stuff about somebody's father, you gonna no amount of no amount of handling will keep you from defending your parent. You get what I'm saying? So that's there. But then also, we're in this space of, okay, it's kind of like no one really wants to do the work that he's doing, and he sees. I'm sorry, he's that family member that you can't tell not to say stuff. I'm sorry, that's it. Like there's no amount of handling that can curtail him from saying what he wants to say at this point. I
Mhm.
mean, the state of everything is um there's no way to stop. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just at this point it's anarchy. Like he's able to speak what he wants to speak. I
Yeah.
would hate to be his crisis PR at the moment, because I was just like, listen, he's just gonna let him do it.
Mhm. And I would add on to that because I imagine I wouldn't call it handling, but is there coaching? Absolutely. I mean,
Mhm.
crafting viral social media content. First off, being genuine and being genuine and transparent and out there absolutely is part of the virality formula that tends to work best versus corporate canned nonsense or that AI written garbage that you see, those thought leadership posts on LinkedIn that that person didn't read, that any AI chatbot could have written for them. No, I mean, Hunter's being real, but is he getting professional coaching? He has to be. You can't possibly be that good at this, having not tweeted for however many years, to just coming back and being fire like that. There has to at least be some coaching. I believe it's all genuinely Hunter, but he's probably got a good, at least one great long time tweeter, somebody who knows the formula, who's
That's
helping
true.
him take those points but structure them out in a way that is going to get those clicks. It would shock me for Hunter to just go from not tweeting for however long to just being this on fire with every single post. There's got to be somebody whispering in his ear. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. We're PR.
I
We
agree.
practice
I
PR,
agree to a
right?
certain extent. Yeah.
We should be those people whispering in their ear.
Well, literally, I think you know what? I think you're absolutely correct. There is someone kind of guiding him, but it's like that. Where the toddler is walking, and you just kind of like move them in a certain direction. You can't tell them where to go, but it's like, okay, we're going to go this way. That's what that is. Like literally, I've worked with clients like that before, and it's one of those things like you can only give them general direction and let them go where they want to go.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say a good media trainer probably isn't in his corner, but listen, I know a lot of recovering crack addicts, and they're hella funny. They're funnier
They
after they
are.
recover than they are
They are.
before.
Because
So
we
I don't know what it is about real life, but real life will make your sense of humor be something unapologetically, ridiculously wild and funny. And I don't know, because he had the interview. Okay. Remember, he did the interview before he started doing all this social media stuff. He after his dad was done, and he finally did that like 2 hour interview,
Mhm.
and everybody, millions of views. And there was no interaction with him and a media person. It was him and the person he was on. I got to remember who was that interview with. Brian, do you remember? But it was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And he was just spitting the whole time, like he had just been loading up for the last few years, because his dad was in office and he couldn't say certain things. But the minute his dad got out of office, that fool was firing on all cylinders for hours.
Because
Okay.
it's one of those, he was holding it in out of respect for his dad. So yeah, it's one of those things like you're loading the clip, and the minute you get okay to take the safety off, it's a wrap. And yes, some of the best comedic timing comes from someone who used to be an addict. Like, let's just be real. But I think that, from that interview into now, he's relatable. And that's the selling point. That's what he has. He is absolutely relatable. Like, and that's what's making it, like, he's genuine and he's relatable. That's what's making it land so well right now.
I
Because
mean,
he's saying the things that we want to say.
he even baited the president to respond to him from the Oval Office. Like, he is on one. He is on one. Proud to see it, Hunter. Keep it coming, because I love to laugh, and He loaded the clip and he's just been firing on all cylinders since then.
And I'm loving it.
Yep, loving it. So listen, now let's talk about something people have been tiptoeing around. Okay, the Oval Office since June 4th. The announcement that ran for hours and on camera, reporting. The reporting was documented 5 separate moments of this man's eyes closed during a meeting. And it keeps happening over and over again. The president of the United States is falling asleep like he has narcolepsy. Like, I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, but the problem isn't that he's falling asleep. The problem is that the media isn't covering it the way they cover Joe or others. And from your professional opinion, I want to know why you think that is happening. Brian, weigh in.
Yeah, so all I've seen was the clip. I don't know the context or anything else, but I saw the clip and then all the memes that followed. He will be, the president will be at the Knicks game tonight, Madison Square Garden, game 3 of the NBA Finals. But people were giving a preview of that, cropping that image of him sleeping, putting him next to Kendall Jenner and whoever she's dating, and Chabolet, I think. Yeah. So the internet's having a lot of fun with it. But Tonya, I mean, you're right. Anytime, Joe Biden did something that old people do, it was a huge story. And got amplified out. You're seeing social media react to this. You're not seeing a lot of mainstream react to it. And I'm not saying it's worthy of covering or not. It's kind of what you expect when year after year we put geriatrics into the presidency. Yeah, they're going to do old people things. And we've all, had a grandparent or somebody else we've known who got into that age bracket who's probably nodded off, during at inappropriate times or during casual encounters. That's kind of what they do in that age group. Will Donald Trump nod off at Madison Square Garden tonight? I don't know, but a lot of people are probably going to tune in to find out.
Yeah. Shan?
I was just thinking about this the other day, and I saw a montage and I'm still trying to figure out, they call this man Sleepy Joe, right? I have not seen the amount of times I've seen this man dozing off is compared to what they say Joe Biden did. I'm confused. So I did see one thing where it said that he was blinking.
Mm-hmm.
The media is kind of scared to say something. You know what I'm saying? But we have the social media people who will say what the media, and this is where I have the problem with journalists are not able to be journalists anymore. You know what I'm saying? So now we have social media influencers or those who make the commentary online that are pointing it out. Journalists are kind of like afraid to say the truth because of your house gets run up in, you can get fired, all of these things, like it's proven. So it's like, they actually from the White House said that he was blinking. Like this it's just becoming a sad state of affairs. But I really do feel like I don't want him going to the Knicks game because I want them to win. But that's besides the point. That's my whole different situation. Like, keep your bad energy somewhere else. The Knicks are on a roll. Let's keep it going. Okay, let's not ruin the moment, because I don't, keep your bad news juju somewhere else. Okay, but at the same time, stop telling us that it's raining and you're spitting on us. Like, stop. You have been falling asleep. You're not blinking. That is a long blink. That is a nap, sir. That is a nap. We see it as people, but there are people who are so hell-bent on not seeing the truth for what it is. And people are so afraid of losing their jobs that they can't say what it is. So it's just, it's just draining at this point.
On a side note, then, talk about what's going on at CBS, at Paramount, at 60 Minutes. since we're talking about media being fearful, and now we have ex-employees coming out really describing how biased they are being directed to report the news.
Because no one wants to be in litigation. No one wants to be sued. No one wants to have all of this because someone feels some type of way because you're reporting the truth. We're stuck between. We have journalists who have gone on from the major networks to be able to speak the truth, but you're kind of in a situation now where it's like you can't report the truth.
Yeah. Well, and pegging on to your previous comments and these comments, I've been tweeting a lot about the Epstein files, back in January, late January, when we got that huge dump of documents and a lot of powerful people were in them. We saw a lot of, we knew who the core, or we thought we knew who the core Epstein associates were. And when that drop came out, we were like, oh my God. I mean, I was one of the people who just went into that search thing, just Googling famous people. I was like, holy smokes.
Right.
I mean, I was Googling them specifically because I kind of assumed they were probably in the files, but then you see they're in there 1,000 times. And you're like, all right, there's something deeper about that. But I bring up the Epstein files only. I don't want to dig into that, Tonya, unless you want to go there. But I bring up the Epstein files because European media and international media is running laps around American media right now when it comes to connecting the dots with the Epstein files. American media has a lot of corporate influence these days. That's a fact. We've seen that with local papers, local newsrooms. These conglomerates continuing to buy up and consolidate American media. That is what we get. We get more, corporate influence into the news that actually comes out the other end. I'm not blaming the journalists on the ground, not even necessarily blaming the editors. I'm blaming this consolidation trend that has absolutely diluted investigative journalism in America. And I bring up Epstein because it is perfect case in point of comparing American media right now and coverage of the Epstein files and anything Epstein related compared to international media.
Not just that, but if you want to look at the war right now, I would suggest that anyone that's actually interested in finding out what's really going on to watch BBC or another international broadcast, because the conversation that we have here in the United States via the media is not the same conversation that's had internationally. So we're looking crazy, because I remember a time growing up where they used to tell us that other countries aren't showing their citizens real news. They're showing them propaganda. Now we're the country that's getting propaganda and have to go to other countries' news broadcasts to find out what's really going on with our own government. Like, how did we get topsy-turvy like this? This is bananas.
Because we have people in power who are litigious and are wanting to create the narrative, control the narrative, so that people can buy into whatever they want to sell. And this is the problem with that, because it's like, yes, people are afraid of losing money. Capitalism is becoming it's duality, the duality of capitalism, and also keeping people under control, or keeping people in this state of disarray, or this state of discourse. So it's a combination of things, because if we're telling them this right here, but we're doing all of this over here, it's going to keep them distracted. And it's sad, because there are people who are actually buying into this. They're not doing the external research. They're not looking further. Whatever Fox News says, that's what they were believing. And they're saying it because this one individual has said all of these other news outlets are fake news and trash. Basically, he's giving, grown adults are afraid to do their own research. And it's one of those things, and I'm happy that there's real news somewhere, but also I'm disappointed that there are adults who are not seeing the forest for the trees at this point. It is sad that every 5 seconds is the whole interview the other day. I think it was the other night, where this news is stupid. You're all of this. I'm like, you're basically giving a group of people I swear it's a cult. I don't
So
care. I'm sorry. I
frustrating.
think it's a cult. Like I have no words. It's so like brain numbing, if that makes sense.
Mind numbing, yeah.
It's mine because it's like we know the truth, we see what's happening. Like even like I'm a big advocate for local. I'm very much so in the local in my local and state politics, and it's like some of the things that are being said. It's becoming a discourse where they're not doing this on the federal level. Listen, we're gonna be honest about what's going on in your backyard. On the federal level, there's so much that is not being said, or so much that is being confused, and I'm I don't know, y'all.
Well, and can we talk about the networks too? John, I believe you referenced Meet the Press that aired yesterday. Kristen Welker flew out to
Oh
Wisconsin,
God.
sat down with Donald Trump.
Because of the rain. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And yeah, no, and she, I mean, she had follow-up questions, as any good journalist should. She fact-checked him. He said he denied ever saying there would be no new wars under Donald Trump, and she said, actually, you repeatedly made that promise, no new wars, while you were running for this, disconnected, term, from the last. But anyways, and then he eventually stormed out of the interview. So we're done, left. Kristen Welker's like, we literally just flew to Wisconsin for this. You're leaving? She's a Philly girl too. So I always feel for my Philly people when, they get, brought up into the national spotlight like that. Kristen Welker's a fantastic reporter. Now, if you want to talk about the NBC network, we can talk about the NBC network. Again, when I look at my disappointment with American news media right now, it's not the reporters on the ground. Kristen Welker's fantastic. When I look at local journalists here in Philadelphia, the journalists on the ground are fantastic, want to get to the truth. A lot of their editors above them want to get to the truth too. But yes, news that comes out the other end is absolutely diluted. And there are corporate interests involved. A lot of these places. NBC, Tonya, you started off talking about CBS and 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
This is where I might not have a popular view, but when Barry Weiss took over, to head up, as the lead editor, over there at CBS News, I was excited about that. I have been a big fan of Barry Weiss from back when she used to be a regular on Bill Maher's show, Real Time. Every time I heard her come up and talk, I didn't hear a partisan talking head or an ideologue. I heard a very well-educated, nuanced person who, maybe if anything, the argument could be she's overeducated to where, she's okay, sharing viewpoints that she knows will probably piss off some people. That's why I like watching Real Time with Bill Maher, is because they don't filter the conversations. They have real substantive chats about big things going on. So I was encouraged by it. Her tenure there, it's been a little rocky so far. As a person who's been a big fan of her previous work, I think her CBS tenure's definitely been a little bit rocky. But I'm not going to pass judgment on her or CBS yet. Clearly, we all knew when they hired her, they were going to shake things up. I think the Scott Pelley, this most recent episode is just another instance, and there's going to be many more of them shuffling it up as they try to find a new identity.
You said you were excited about it, but how do you feel now?
I know that's unpopular, but I was, because I have been a Barry Weiss fan for a long time.
So are you still?
The person, yes. Am I a fan of everything going on at CBS News? I mean, look at what she talked into. Or I'm sorry, look at what she walked into when she was hired for that job. Clearly, ratings were plummeting. There was a disconnect. They had been going through an identity crisis. CBS, CNN, when you look at the identity crisis they've been going through for a long time, and the ratings plunges. Yeah, at least Fox figured out its identity. Fox was going to be right-wing, NBC, Disney was going to be left-wing. And CBS, CNN, has been kind of flirting with both just to try to see what works. I think they're strongest when they do real news reporting. Don't slant it to one side or the other. Just, there are two sides to a fact.
But we are
There's
okay.
fact and then there's non-fact.
Right. So at this point, especially when the reporters, and Scott Pelley is not the only one, he's one of many at this point that have come out and said, hey, yeah, we're not allowed to do real reporting. Everything is slanted. So now we have a credibility problem. So what you're saying is when they report real news, that's when they're their best. We know that. That's another reason why it's so disappointing that an actual reporter, actually several have come out and said, we're not doing real reporting. They're inserting propaganda and opinions into our reporting. So whatever you're and if I'm not doing their bidding, they're going to give it to someone else. Yep. So now people that are getting interviewed are allowed to pick their journalists because they're picking the journalists that will allow them to slant the story. So at what
and Tanya, no, I agree with that. I mean, I would have loved to hold, CBS, CNN on a bigger pedestal than their, NBC and Fox and ABC counterparts. A long time ago, when CNN first launched as that 24 hours news thing. I mean, they did real investigative news from on the ground, everything. But we, now clearly things have changed. They're not on that pedestal right now. We can't continue putting them on that pedestal because exactly what you described, people are getting ousted for not following the narrative. You think that doesn't happen at Fox? You think that doesn't happen at Disney and NBC? It does. I would like to see CBS and CNN be better than that. They're not.
I would like to see them all better than that, so we don't have to get our news about our country from other countries' news broadcasts. But it seems these days, and I've been saying this because I've been doing the media training for podcasters for a very long time now, and I've been telling them for years. I've been saying, you will be the reporters, you will be the people that they come to, because you're not with a network that you have to lie for, that you have to slant things for. You are the new media. I tell podcasters that all the time. So be credible and be honest. Be credible and be honest. And right now, a lot of our mainstream media are losing their credibility and trust of the public. And public relations, in essence, is getting people to know, like, and trust you. So now they need to figure out how to get people to know, like, and trust them. We don't know them anymore. Their identity is shit. We don't like them because now that's too controversial to be someone I actually get news from. And we don't trust them because the people that work for them are being like, yeah, not only are we treated bad, but we're told to lie to y'all. Now what do we do?
That's the thing. Being that transparent and honest, it's basically giving people a reason to want to do their own research. It's basically we can't just blindly follow anymore. And I'm appreciating the journalists who are saying, listen, they telling us not to tell y'all the truth, but y'all need to look into it. And it's one of those things, like, it's to get you into being more proactive and more, to learn more, to research more, to ask more questions. Because right now, like you said, PR is gaining trust, creating a trust factor. And now that they're blatantly telling us we can't trust you, okay, fine. Let me go get the information myself.
Yep, pretty much. So with this, I would just say, whether you think these are healthy stories, whether you think it's optics in these stories or nothing burger, one thing is true. The side that talks the loudest is the one that gets to define the narrative. That seems to be the moment that we're in right now. The side that is the loudest and telling the consistent lie or story is the one that is defining the narrative. So right now, both sides are kind of screaming and the middle is confused. And that's where the majority of Americans are, just effing confused. And that's not by accident. I think that's a strategy by this current administration.
To create divisiveness and confusion, because then you're going to feel like, where do I look? Where do I look? Someone has to come out and say, listen, let me give you the real raw, the truth. But they have to want to trust that person. There's a lot of kids. Like I was speaking to my children, well, not children, my adults, and they're like, listen, the amount of misinformation that's given on social media, and there are even people who are older than me that are going to social media clips for their news, for the truth. And I'm like, don't they know they can actually go to these agencies or go to these to your down to your you can email your politician, you can actually reach out to certain things, you can actually do those things. Here's like people don't want to do that, they just want the information in 30 seconds or less. So we have to find credible individuals who are going to be honest, who are going to, and that's you. We're at a disadvantage right now because there are adults or people who can do the research on their own that are not doing it. It's lazy.
No,
That's it. They rather
I've
be.
I've sent people links to sites where they can go verify their information before they start sending it to other people. Like, hey, before you send this out, in my nice Tanya voice, maybe you should go fact check this BS that you're sending to people because it's actually not true.
But
And
then they get upset.
no, yes, like what? I'm just sharing information. I'm like, you're
You're
sharing
sharing
probably
misinformation,
lies,
Yeah.
lies.
and it
And,
does
and,
say
and
on Facebook, this information is found to be not true.
yeah.
Dead ass.
So
Yeah. So listen, real quick, I want to talk about my favorite story. Oh, because I'm a softball girl, and the women's college World Series got started. And before anyone says that it got buried, let me tell you, it was on ESPN Plus. Okay, the numbers are good, but I wanted to see it on ABC because then every year the numbers get better. Every year, this is exactly where it belongs on mainstream ABC and ESPN, like both. I don't know if it's a licensing thing or not, but women's sports are continuously growing. But I saw an article, and this is why I bring this up. It says, what is it? Profitability doesn't always necessarily mean growth. So they're bringing more money, but is it growing? Is it getting the attention and the respect that it deserves? I'm trying to figure out what needs to happen for that to take place. The respectability, the audacity to put women's sports right in the forefront. Like, what is missing here? Because, yes, they're pouring money into it and they're getting the views, but it's still not really getting the respect. So, Brian?
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about who's pouring money into. I'm going to rewind back to, well, obviously the collegiate level is a worthy conversation, pro level, and absolutely. But let's look at youth sports. We now have private equity pushing money into youth sports in elite travel teams and development leagues and everything else. I am not an anti-private equity guy. Okay, but usually when private equity comes in, like we've seen it do to news media, like we've seen it do to, name your industry, when private equity comes in and starts creating consolidation, sometimes the end product's better. A lot of times it's not as good. Sometimes it's worse. So I have nervous optimism about the money flowing into youth sports and then at the collegiate level as well. The private equity component of it needs to be looked at. That is the biggest story nobody's talking about in youth sports right now is private equity. Again, yes. Is it creating more viewership? More money pumped into something is going to get more eyeballs on it. That's just happens time and time again. But how is this going to change pressures on these athletes, their careers post, everything else? That's to be seen. Private equity puts money into things if they think they themselves are going to make money off of it.
Yeah, we can have a whole other conversation about this private equities in youth sports situation. Like, it's bananas, and it's also causing a lot of great athletes, good young athletes, to not even be able to play with with the rates in which these private equity firms are inflating the price to be able to play a sport. I personally would love to see cities. I might champion this one day if I can get some support, but I think cities should have a percentage of their funds go to youth sports. Again, they're just completely opting out, letting private organizations come in and run their youth sports program when you shouldn't have to pay $500 for your kid to play 8 weeks of youth basketball or little league at the little league field that the city owns. Like, we're not doing what we should be doing on a local level. So I'm going to actually talk on one of my pods about the let them play legislation that's coming out. And, feel free if you'd love to join me, I'd love to have you. But this youth sports and the funnel to collegiate sports is one thing. But again, so I just need to say this, because with women's softball, the World Series, it's up 63% from last year, right? This was the most watched first Thursday in the history of the event. Through 14 games, it was averaging 1.5 million views. And I think one of them, it got up to like 2.3 million. What are the games? 2.6 million. And Texas went and they won back-to-back titles. And after losing the opening game, the six elimination games, this was crazy. They won every single one of them. So Texas is killing. Even if you don't like Texas, I'm from California. I would love to see a California team, but I was all in on this Texas team. That's not a nice girl story. That's a rating story. It's a business story. Those are numbers that networks chase. And we are still not put in the prime spot. I don't understand. I've raised student athletes. I know what it costs to get a kid to the field. So, you can't tell me that the audience isn't there, which is what you said. The audience showed up, the coverage happened, but I just still don't think that the respect is there for women's sports.
I agree with you on that. The respect for women's sports is not there, but they like the drama part though. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole, they like the drama, but they don't want to put the attention on the real stuff, the actual sportsmanship, the actual athleticism. They don't want to showcase that, but they want to showcase the politics, well, the attitudes against each other and things like that. And it's really sad to see that that's the first thing you see. Oh, Angel Reese is doing X, Y, and Z. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of stuff that really makes no sense. And you said that in the World Series, the for the girls, for the softball and stuff like that, that's great news. That's what they need to show. But for some odd reason, if it's not sensationalized and it's not being something that they feel like people will move the meter, that's why they don't touch it. And that's the crazy part. And it's lack of respect for the sport, for women in sports. Without the drama or the dramatics, yeah, that's the problem. And I see that. I'm like, there's so many great things happening, but no one wants to talk about it because it doesn't play into the narrative of drama or, oh, women are emotional or and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, and then what's the girl, the Caitlin Clark, all of that. They will play that up to the nth degree, but they downplay the skill set of some in the sport, and it makes no sense to me. But then again,
I saw on one of the pods, and Brian, I'm going to direct this to you because one of the other pods I was watching, it was with Acho, that guy, the one that he's on. No, Acho.
Chad Johnson. Oh,
no, the other guy. Acho.
H-O. Yeah. He was. He was briefly a linebacker for the Eagles. That's all.
Yeah. So they were talking about there's no storyline for WNBA. Like, what's the stories? And I do think that unless you're one of the top players, they don't really play up their stories, the storylines in the WNBA. And I want to ask, and that could be said for all of the women's sports, actually. We know the stories of the NBA players, the NFL players. They got shows on Netflix about, what is it, starting five, and you got quarterbacks, and you got they kill it with the stories for men's sports, but for women's sports, I think storylines are completely left out, which then obviously limits more growth and fanfare. But what does a brand leave? A brand like WNBA or even um, softball, what does a brand leave on the table by treating it like it's a charity when they do cover it, instead of like inventory like they do with men's sports? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, it does. I mean, the reason why during their college years, people like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers, I freaking love Paige Beckers.
Same.
The player, the swag, the brand, everything. So the reason why they were getting all these big NIL deals is because they told their own stories and owned their own brands. I know there's a big debate about NIL. Oh, it's ruining college sports and whatnot. You know what? I mean, for the athletes who have worked as hard as the three that I just named and gone through it all and whatnot, for them to have been able to monetize their brands, good for them. I mean, they have pioneered and forced the issue, and created monetization opportunities for all of those who follow. Men or women's, when you make it into the pro leagues, there's not a lot of guarantee in that. I mean, that first contract might be the only contract that you get. And when you look at the WNBA, that first contract you get is probably less than your accountant makes. Like, seriously, it's not the same in the men's game, but in the women's game, that accountant that you just hired, now that you've got a brand and you're in a league, they probably make more than you do. I don't know how that corrects. I like to lean on the free market, but the free market can get manipulated. And that's when, you need to look at policy and everything else to try to fix it. Tonya, did I just stray completely from your initial question before I go on?
No, you're good. I mean, it's all good information. It's all part of the perspective, right? And I think that's usually what's missing in conversations and dialogue is everyone has their hot take, but from a PR perspective, from a marketing, from a storytelling perspective, many times that element is missing, and hopefully it's helping people to really take a look at how they are playing into the narrative or what they're missing as they're coming up with their own narrative about a story. And too many times, it's the headline that wins instead of critical thinking. That's why we are fighting anti-intellectualism over here, because I'm tired of people that will not read or interpret information. It's driving me nuts. But
and I mean, back to what I was talking about too, to your point. I mean, pre-NIL, you had an institutionalized system, the NCAA, prohibiting players from making money. Realize these NCAA players who are putting all those butts in the seats, bringing in all this money, who are livening up all of your alumni donors and everything else, the people who are the product, those athletes. Yes, I'm not going to discount the value of a full ride scholarship and a meal plan and whatever else these universities were giving them. But to prohibit them from being able to do something that, a college mathlete could do. If you're a college mathlete and you're really good at it, you could go out to a campus bar and get paid just to show up there and be you. The athletes couldn't do that. The mathletes could. The athletes couldn't. I said the mathlete. Math with an M. Yep. The mathletes could. The athletes couldn't. Yeah. So no, I mean, you had institutionalized repression of their revenue generating systems, made them more and more dependent on the NCAA rather than going out and creating their own brand. So I think, this most recent Supreme Court has gotten a lot of criticism. I think they got that one right.
Yep.
How can you prohibit them from, when they're outside of their NCAA responsibilities, making money on their own, just being social media influencers and everything else that they are as a human? No. To monopolize their entire brand under the NCAA, that was never right. That's my belief. I'm sticking to it.
Sticking with it, yeah. While we're here on sports, let's talk Knicks and Spurs, a rematch of 1999, which means half the people watching were not even born yet. Oh, these Knicks. They might only, I don't even know, Carmelo Anthony, who else might these young people remember on the Knicks? I don't know, but the Knicks are doing their thing right now. Jalen Brunson, he drops whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He don't care how tall you are or how short he is. He's doing a big one. But here is the PR number I want to talk about real quick. Game 1, they averaged 16.9 million views, I believe. And then it's been like the best finals opener since 2018. Okay. Up 90% from last year. 90% in game 1. And the league is sitting on its 8th straight year with a different champion. Hello. I think that's a good thing. Whatever. Unless it's the Warriors, then I need another three-peat. Anyways, I need that, Warriors. I need that. So while everyone debates whether the league is declining, because that has been conversation, the receipts say opposite. They just do. You give people a young phenom in San Antonio, and a starving market in New York, and the country shows up. Get into that for me. And then also how the game 3 is about to be disrupted by the disruptor in the White House. Brian Chan.
I'll jump back in.
He should not be in the game. I'm sorry.
I'll be real. I'm going to be real quick too. But the NBA, if it's good at one thing, it is making money. Adam Silver, I've had my own personal gripes with him and some of the league's owner. Adam Silver works for the league's owners. I mean, Adam Silver's job is putting money in the pockets of league owners first, players second. Players, or at least his relationship with the players is through that lens, filtered through the owners themselves. He's done a very good job of bringing in international interest. Wemby, being the superstar he is a prime example of that. I think Wemby got away with some things just during these playoffs. A flagrant foul with a almost lethal elbow. That man's got the sharpest elbow the league has ever seen to the throat of an opponent. Didn't even get a fine or anything for that. It's part of Silver's playbook. I mean, he picks his poster boys for the league. He's going to protect them. Anybody who runs counter to that negative, he's probably going to be pretty harsh on them. I've got a lot of opinions on Adam Silver. You don't have to agree with anything I just said. I just wanted to air them out. All I'm going to say is, yes, Adam Silver is very good at getting viewers and money into the league. So is he doing his job? Absolutely.
Love that. Chan?
Okay, listen. Do we want to see a city in uproar? Like, I just picture this. I've never seen someone want attention so bad that they go and disrupt people's peace to get it. And I feel like the amount of the procedures and the precautions at the Secret Service is going to disrupt the flow of things. And I feel like during these trying times, let people have their moments, please. Just let the Knicks have their moment, okay? They deserve it. They don't need a distraction.
But Chan,
yes.
He was invited by the owner. So, I mean,
the owner who?
The owner
James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks.
Chan.
Interesting guy who.
Did he not have a team behind him saying, "Don't do this"? Like, did his wife not tap him on the shoulder and say, "Listen,
No,
we're on to a good thing right now. We don't need this."
no. And I think I did a whole reel on like the Donald Trump curse
I
because
hope his wife and his mistress don't talk to him for the next 3 weeks.
dude, every time a player gets caught up in drama with this guy, they lose. Like they lose. I don't know. Philly felt it, right? Mr. Philly in the back. Hello.
From who? From who?
Philly felt. Who do you go golfing with?
Oh, Saquon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no, we love Saquon. We love Saquon.
no, but he didn't have the best.
I'm
Things
sorry.
didn't the way that he wanted them to. Listen,
He had a pretty good year.
Sports is a mojo. I think sports is a mojo thing. Like your mojo, your vibe, and sometimes you do things that mess up your mojo, and you be looking back like, how did I lose that? How did I not wind up on top? Because sometimes you mess up, even with baseball players. My son had a problem. He went and started messing around. He got a new bat, but then he kept on messing with this other bat. And this fool was on the worst slump. And we kept telling him, go back to the bat you were doing well with, okay? Go back to what works. These fools keep reaching for something that don't work in their favor. I could be wrong, but Chan, I don't know. Yes, the owner did invite him.
Oh, Lord. Was he having a senior moment? I need to answer. Like, what's going on?
This owner was also good friends with Harvey Weinstein, so just to put James Dolan into perspective.
Okay, that makes sense. So,
when you get into that type of money, there's a lot of overlap in these friends groups.
Yes.
And I'm not. Yes, is Donald Trump part of that friend group? Absolutely. Not so much the Weinstein. I mean, Hollywood kind of kept Trump out. The Epstein social groups, though, absolutely.
Jan is so discombobulated.
My brother has been in such a good mood. Why are they trying to ruin it? They're ruining things. Can we have something nice? This just, I can't. We just can't have nothing nice.
We have nice things. Have you seen the White House lately? Looking like
I'm saying the Knicks
ghetto front yard.
It's a nice thing, but all they need is a couch and some chairs, some cars on bricks in the White House. We good. But all I'm saying is this: at this point, the Knicks have been a great thing for us right now. It has kept us from thinking about the craziness and the dumpster fire that currently is country right now.
Well, he's going to ruin that too. So good luck, Nick.
We have nothing nice.
But yeah, I mean, Tanya, we started talking about ratings. I really do think a lot of people are going to be watching tonight.
Why?
What did you say? What did you say? You cited 16.9 million
to see if he falls asleep.
Okay, we're talking about the first. Yes, I'm going to watch to see if he falls asleep. Absolutely.
This is the thing.
There are people $10,000 to be at that game to see if Donald Trump falls asleep. Are the betting markets putting this out?
But this is the thing.
It should be.
He's going to take credit.
Does Donald Trump fall asleep?
But he's going to take credit and say that he's the reason why. You're not, dude. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Let me put it back on track real quick and just have you think about this. There have been players, though, that are coming out, not even just about how bad him showing up is for the fans that do actually have the money to go, but also how bad these prices are for the real fans that have been with them through their entire struggles and now wins. So if we look a little bit more at the actual issue here and how difficult all of this is making it for fans that have been through it with this team, thick and thin, that's my question here.
I mean, it's 5-figure just get in door price, right?
Right.
Or maybe.
Well, one of the players
maybe high 4 figures. I mean, high 4 figures is what I saw.
Yeah, high 4 figures.
Yeah. So I mean, the diehards, they're not getting in, and because Donald Trump's going, they can't even watch it outside because now they've got Secret Service, brought everything outside. Which I mean, I get it. Donald Trump is obviously needs protection anywhere he goes. But it's
Was this a good decision by ownership? That's the question. When you have a fan base,
James Dolan has been the poster boy of terrible NBA ownership for a long time. Now that he finally has a winning team for the first time in almost 3 decades, finally has another finals run, he's probably not in the last spot. I'll tell you, here in Philadelphia, Josh Harris is, I told you I was going to pivot to this. Josh Harris is probably the worst owner in the entire NBA, and he steals a lot of things out of James Dolan, the Knicks owner's playbook. He surveils fans and kicks them out of games. Josh Harris had his ghouls find me at Game 3 of the Celtics game to kick me out of the game because I've been tweeting about how Josh Harris is in the Epstein files over 500 times. I'm going to say that one more time. Josh Harris is in the Epstein files over 500 times. Not only is he the owner of the 76ers, he's the owner of the Washington Commanders, New Jersey Devils, and he's got a soccer club too. I think he's minority owner in Crystal Palace. And this man who's in the Epstein files 500 plus times is scheduled to own a WNBA team in 2030. Yeah.
Oh God.
Tonya, I warned you. I was gonna get that out.
It's weird because I did a post about Kwanzaa Jones and buying the San Diego Padres, and people were coming out like, "Oh my God, it's her husband's money. It's this, and she ain't married to a black man, and it's stupid." And I'm thinking, do y'all even know how hard it is to even get approved to buy a team? Not everybody can buy a team. Trump could not buy a football team.
Right.
Not everyone can get approved to buy a professional team. But it's crazy to me how you can send someone through all the hoops, and then you have someone like that has been mentioned in the Epstein files over
500 times.
And they're just handing them off. Here's another team, and here's another team, and here's another team for you. I don't understand where people get these standards from. They're so inconsistent, and by God, it's kind of gross. I don't know. I don't have anything else. That's gross. But I'm cracking up because you said they follow their fans. Like,
they do. What? So James Dolan, Knicks owner, this has been documented from several years back. He actually uses AI surveillance that looks for his personal critics. So not people. Listen, every arena needs to keep it secure from fans who get intoxicated and start fights and every other thing that you see at sports events. Of course, they need to look for those people, implement bans, whatever they've got to do to keep normal fans safe. But James Dolan, triggered or had his technology triggered to identify people who criticized him on social media, who posed no threat to any other fan, who went there behaving themselves, whatever, acting like normal fans. He did that. I'm not accusing Josh Harris of using AI to identify me and have his ghouls hunt me down, because he didn't have to. I went in there and took a picture right when I got in my seats. So, I mean, they didn't need AI to find me. And I had just gotten off a plane. I was in West Palm Beach that morning, literally flew, didn't even have time to go home first. So I was in my flight clothes, dropped my bags off somewhere, and went right to the game, in white camo, gray jeans, and my airplane attire. I was very easy to find because I wasn't dressed like anybody else. Kicked me out because I've been factually reminding people about his years-long friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, who was a registered sex offender during that entire friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no, it's just feels like sometimes the fans just don't have a say. They just don't have a say. They care about them when they're buying their tickets, and that's about it. That's it.
I just, as an owner, I would want to keep my fans happy.
Yeah, you would. But I guess he figures at this point, hell, we sucked and they was here, so they're gonna keep being here.
Right.
They just, it is what it is. Really quick while we're on sports, Giants quarterback Jaxson Dart, that whole situation with the president introducing him at the rally, and then Abdul Carter posting, some things are bigger than football. This is the Giants wanted to keep it as an internal matter, but it was already all over the media. Now I'm going to put on my crisis PR hat really quick. And here's the real problem. And it's not politics. It's that one player's personal choice became the entire team's narrative for a week. That is brand management failure to me, not a political one. The face of the franchise represents everybody who wears that jersey. So when he picks a side, the equipment manager picks a side too. You know what I'm saying? The other players pick a side too, whether he wanted to or not. This is exactly why athletes need media reps. They need media training. They need to constantly be engaged in protecting their brand, not just doing stuff. Who are you talking to help you make the decisions on what you do, especially when you are the face, the captain, the leader in the locker room? Nobody, it feels like nobody is walking these players through this kind of stuff. So I'm going to open it up to both of you and just get your initial thoughts on Jaxson Dart and Abdul Carter and the Giants.
I keep mine quick, and actually, I do have a upcoming conference call, so this might be my last word. As an Eagles fan, I love seeing a divided Giants locker room for my own selfish reasons. I thought that the Abdul Carter Dart back and forth and everything else was fantastic. Perfect Giants offseason. More of that, please. But for real, listen, I've never had a problem with athletes going to political rallies, this or that. I mean, they need to know that your fans, whether it's some of your fans or the majority of your fans, might not agree with your political preference. And that goes both ways. We saw during the Obama years, we saw Fox News go crazy about athletes who showed support towards Barack Obama. I'm not creating a different standard, between the two. I'm okay with athletes engaging in civil discourse. What I tell my clients to do, though, is rather than getting directly into the politics and picking your favorites or, just being a team player for a party, let's talk about issues. Let's talk about policy. Okay, leave the politicking to the politicians and the parties. Rarely, unless you're directly engaged in that sphere, is it advantageous for you to get to that level. But if you want to talk policy, it's probably a stronger place to be in. And I encourage most of my people to get involved with policy, especially when the policy directly impacts them and their clients. That's a great place for them to be.
Yep. Chan, and then go ahead and give your final thoughts for the day.
Media training is very, very important for any player. But at the same time, if they're not receptive to the training or understand the training, they're going to do what they're going to do. Y'all got to understand, it's just so much at one point right now. And I think one, making sure players are relatable, and two, making sure they're knowledgeable of what they're speaking about is very important, but they have to care. They really do have to care. They really do have to want to put in, the work and understand the bigger picture. But that's just my take on that. Y'all, my head hurts.
Hey, before we get out of here, let the people know how they can get in touch with you, be in touch with you, follow your journey, and weigh in on some things. Let them know.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm revamping and I'm relaunching, so it's coming soon. I'm putting my website back up, so you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook, Chandra Work Consulting, to see the new branding, new update. Due to political climate, I had to remove a lot of things, so now that I'm no longer working with elected official, I'm great. I can go back to different things, so I'm happy, and I'm in a better place now. So yes, follow me on all things Chandra Consulting or Conversations with Chan. I'm going to start posting my actual opinions on things. Thank you, Tonya, for inviting me today to get me my jump start, because there's a lot of stuff I just been writing it out, shaking my head in the dark at this point, because it's like some of the things, but if you're looking for any kind of one-on-one, I'm here to help. So that's how to reach me, and I want to thank everyone for joining today. But thank you, Tonya and Brian. You are awesome, by the way, and go Eagles, because clearly you are an Eagles fan.
And you know what, for your Knicks, there's the Villanova connection. There's the Villanova connection. There's the Villanova connection. So I'm not a Knicks fan, but Jalen Brunson, Bridges, Josh Hart. Of course, I'm
only a Knicks fan because of my brother.
There you go.
I just know about them. Yep. That's it. Yep. I'm not a
fan. I've got players on the Knicks who I would love to see be champions again. My
brother's
they were already champions with Villanova, but to do it in the NBA, that would be kind of cool. So
I got you.
Yeah. And then anybody who wants to connect with me, here, authorprime.com. Check it out. We are basically industry agnostic. If you have a stockpile of good quality content, whether that be podcasts, webinars, years of blogging, anything, and you're ready to transform some of that into a book, I'll give you a consultation. We'll talk about it, and I'll be real with you. If you're not giving me a book's worth of content, I'll tell you. But if I think we really can do something special, of course, I'm going to want to work with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here. Another episode of the Judgy Podcast. I will be bringing you more panels because there's just too much going on. And, Chan and the rest of the folks need to process some of this stuff out into the world. We love to discuss things from a PR perspective because we know that it's missing from the discourse. And in the meantime, we might be a little judgy, a little petty about it, but you're definitely always going to hear the truth and a perspective that's not being shared through the zeitgeist of the internet. Most of the time, we're very thoughtful. We're very analytical and strategic about the conversations that we have. So thank you for showing up. Make sure that you subscribe, you share, you do all the things, and hit the little bell so you can get alerted next time we go live again. And if there is something you want us to cover, comment below. Let us know what you want to discuss because we have the capacity to do that. Outside of that, head over to Substack, control the narrative. If you don't control the narrative, the streets will, and it will not be in your favor. We'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by, and always control the narrative. Bye, guys.